Miami Heat slow down the red-hot Charlotte Hornets. The Knicks blow out the Denver Nuggets. We're going to talk about it all and more on today's Locked On NBA Game Night.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night, tipping off now.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On NBA Game Night, where it's every game, every night on Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 podcast network in the entire world. I'm Haize, one of the hosts of Locked On Bulls. I'm joined, as I am every Friday night, by Swipa, one of the hosts of Locked On Nuggets. How you doing, Swipa?
Man, we living, man. What a day. What a night of NBA basketball, bro. Can't wait to get into it.
Really good night of NBA basketball. Tonight's episode is brought to you guys by FanDuel. FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with the college basketball parlay profit boost. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel. Play your game. So let's jump right into it, man. The Heat, 128-120 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. Tyler Herro scores 35 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists in this game, and the Heat stopped the league-leading win streak. They had the longest win streak in the league at 6 games. That comes to an end tonight. How you feeling about this game?
Man, honestly, that was very shocking, given how everything's kind of been rolling for the Charlotte Hornets. Yeah. But shout out to the Heat. They responded well. They had multiple opportunities in this game where they could have rolled over, but they did not. But Tyler Herro, that is the kind of performance that Heat fans are looking for from you. 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists in this game. That's elite level basketball for Tyler Herro. And just for you to understand, man, this was a close game in the fourth quarter, and the Heat had to absolutely pull away in order to make this happen. And in the fourth quarter, y'all, they just get just enough from everybody. Bam Adebayo had 12 points in the fourth quarter. Tyler Herro had 8 points in the quarter. Drew Smith also had 4 points. Their best players, they delivered in the biggest moments down the stretch of the game, and they were able to outgun and outshoot the Charlotte Hornets. And so shout out, man, Canepa, he tried to respond. He had 9 points. He made 3 threes in the fourth quarter, but it just wasn't enough, man. The Heat, they are played really good basketball, and they are showing that, look, we want to make sure we get into the playoffs and, we get in a play-in situation. We believe that we can beat the Charlotte team. So that was a great win for the Miami Heat.
Absolutely. And, the Hornets are going to more than likely have to come out that play-in tournament. We'll see what the Miami Heat do. 21 points from Jaime Jaquez off the bench this one. Jaime has had a low-key, a six-man of the year level season that he's had for that Miami Heat team. But the Charlotte Hornets have been such a good story here, especially recently, playing some of the best basketball since January as well. You get 21 points from LaMelo Ball, 22 from Brandon Miller here. Canepa with 27 points. However, I'm gonna throw this one to you. We had this conversation on the daily version, Locked On NBA, but I want to throw it to you on this one too. It seems like Cooper Flagg is still the favorite to win Rookie of the Year this year. He's had some major and some big performances, but Canepa's been right there. Do you think he has a chance, maybe still the Rookie of the Year here from Cooper Flagg?
Well, that's going to be tough because so much of Rookie of the Year, as we've all witnessed in 2003 with Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James, is about narratives. And, you have to have control of the narrative. And Cooper Flagg, and again, he's been really good in his own right, so it's not a slight at all. But, Con has been phenomenal for a team that's going to make the playoffs. And, it used to be that, if, you're playing really well on a team and that team is making the playoffs, you get a lot of hay for that, and shout out to Cooper. He's obviously a better defensive player than Con, 20 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 4 assists a game. He's shooting 47% from the field and 81 from the free throw line. That's very good, especially given the fact that he's had so many injuries around him this year. But y'all, Canepa was averaging 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. He's shooting 49% from the field, 44 for 3 on 8 attempts a game. He's literally having the greatest shooting season for a rookie ever. And he's shooting 87% from the free throw line on a 65 true shooting. So he's shooting 7% above league average on mostly jumpers. And then on top of that, he's maybe the second most impactful player on a team that's going to more than likely make the playoffs if they continue to have injury luck and stuff on their side. That's a really, really hard case to make against Canepa. But Cooper Flagg, he might just be special enough as an individual talent that it might not matter with all the team and individual success that Con is having.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to Canepa. Shout out to the Hornets. They're going to try to get back in the win column when they take the court, I believe, on Sunday against Phoenix is the next game that they play. Let's move on to our next game. The Boston Celtics get a win here, 120 over 100 over the Dallas Mavericks. We're actually going to hear from John Corrales, the host of Locked On Celtics here.
Boston Celtics get the 20-point win over the Dallas Mavericks. They pulled away late. They dominated the fourth quarter. But the big story, obviously, is Jayson Tatum's return. He played about 28 minutes, which is more than I expected, which tells us that he has been ramping up for a little bit longer than might have been let on. He was very rusty at the beginning. He missed some shots badly, but then he got going at the end of the half with a putback dunk and a three-pointer that really got the place like as loud as I've ever heard it. And then he hit a bunch of shots in a row in the third quarter and helped the Celtics kind of pull away. He looked both rusty and like himself, which is kind of a best-case scenario. There's a lot to work on, but he already looks pretty good. Some of the drives, typical drives. The shot was kind of there. The legs weren't all the time. He kind of got pinned on one of the dunk attempts. The alley-oop from Jalen Brown at the end was a little ambitious. But overall, it was a really nice debut for Tatum. Rebounded well, was passing the ball. And if this is the starting point, then the end point is very encouraging. I'll have a whole lot more coming up on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
So Jayson Tatum, everybody's going to talk about his return. 6 of 16 from the field for 15 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, and a steal in this game. You get Jaylen Brown with 24 points, Derek Wright with 20 points, Peyton Pritchard with 18 off the bench as the Celtics get the win here. How you feeling, Swiper?
Yeah, so, I've been obviously very tapped into the story all year, anticipating and wondering when Jayson Tatum will make his debut this season or if he would at all. And, going into the season and throughout the year, I maintained my stance that I just don't want him to come back. And I would rather have him, take, which would have been full 17 months off if he would have sat consistently and then wouldn't have come back. But again, Tatum, y'all, I don't think people realize this. It's been like 10 months since Tatum tore his Achilles. And so for him to be able to make this kind of a leap, to be able to step back onto the basketball floor this soon, and honestly, he looks rusty in some ways, but he also was very impactful today. He had some good plays. He was a plus 20 today, almost had a triple-double, 15 points, not super efficient, but like he was getting into the game. 12 rebounds, 7 assists. He had a steal. Tatum is just a special talent, and this just is a credit to him and how much work that he has put in to be able to get back to this point. How much the Boston Celtics trust him to be able to get back into the situation and step in and be a good contributing player right away. And also just to the medical staff that he has, man, just forget him to this point where he's able to play 28 minutes in his first game. And then look, by the time we get to next week, everything keeps going well, at least maybe 2 weeks from now. I mean, Tatum's probably going to be regularly seeing 30 minutes a game, and he's just going to be about getting his groove back and getting his rhythm back as he gets ready to take on the NBA playoffs. But the Celtics are special, man. Like I'm not on board with them winning the East and, getting to the NBA finals or anything yet. But in terms of competing, having their wings back, and then having a good rotation of players, having a defensive and offensive identity, and I think the coach of the year and Joe Mazzulla, you put all that stuff together, man, the Celtics have all the special sauce you could be hoping and wanting from the season. And brother, like for Tatum to do what he did and to come back and look as good as he did today, I mean, that is like truly a testament of greatness for the Celtics and for Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, they came right back into the starting lineup. There's some questions and doubt, of course, with how much time he's missed in his injury. If they bring him off the bench and slowly incorporate him, they trust him a lot. And for what it's worth, he had a really solid first game back. Like you said, the rust is clearly there. That's going to wear itself off. And now he has, a little over a month to tune up and get ready for the playoff run, because the Celtics are a legitimate threat to come out that Eastern Conference. We do have a short from Nick Anstate on the other side of this, from the Maverick side of this. We're going to play that now.
Guards, get guards, Dallas Mavericks, this summer, please, for the love of God. Cooper Flagg plays in TD Garden, a place that he had grown up going to. He idolized the Boston Celtics and Jayson Tatum. He got to play against both of them today. Jayson Tatum returns for the Boston Celtics. That's going to be a massive story. He looked all right. A couple of things that he did in this game. But Let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks because their offense just completely fell off a cliff in multiple moments in this game. But they kept fighting back. It's what they always do. They held a lead for some parts of the first half, and then in the fourth quarter, Mavs were only down by 7, and then everything just fell apart for them. They couldn't get anything going. Cooper Flagg, 16 points, 8 boards, 6 assists in this one, but 7 of 23 from the field. His little runners and bunnies, a couple of them just didn't go down like they normally do for him. He missed all 4 of his threes, but the Mavs just need somebody to be able to run an offense in some capable way next season. They do have somebody in Klay Thompson that can launch threes like nobody else. 19 points in just 18 minutes, including 5 of 11 from 3. He's not even thinking about these threes. Coming around screens, just taking them, and it's been awesome to watch Klay Thompson the last couple of games do his thing. The Dallas Mavericks continue to tank. They lose this game. That's a good thing for the Mavericks and their record and all that, but man, it's just a tough one to watch at the end. It's just the air got completely taken out of this team that was fighting really hard in the second night of a back-to-back.
The Mavs have been fighting hard a lot this season. Get Cooper Flagg back in this one. They get him back. They're going to go on a run here. Nick pointed out that they could be tanking here the rest of the way this season. How do you feel about the Mavs and not only this game, but what's ahead of them for the rest of the season?
Yeah, again, another unfortunate year that's been ravaged by injuries. Chris Middleton, finishing out the rest of the season on this team. It's interesting. I definitely thought that there was an opportunity for him to get bought out because he would have been a very good contributing player somewhere else. But they still got a lot of pieces. Like Max Christie's a good player. I love Najee Marshall. Like he's a very good player, has very good touch. Klay Thompson had 5 threes today. He was hooping. I mean, they have a squad. Brandon Williams, extremely fast and athletic at the point guard spot. And then obviously Ryan Nembhard. They just have to get healthy. They got to continue to draft well. They'll get a blue chip. Hopefully, this draft is, they could just be like them and the Spurs and OKC. There is a very real reality where, we're looking at it next year, 2 years from now, and like they have a host of young, very elite talent on the roster, obviously being spearheaded by Cooper Flagg. So I'm very excited for the future for the Mavericks. I think Mavericks fans should be too.
Yeah, Mavs fans should definitely be happy about the future and excited about what's coming up there next. What's coming up here, though, is we're going to actually talk about Swipa and his team getting a blowout loss here to the New York Knicks. We'll talk about that on the other side of this. But first, I got to talk to you guys about FanDuel. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into an even bigger potential wins with the college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want, rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits my read. You can mix spreads, totals, and player props to match how you see the slate playing out. Then you can apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payout. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season. It's your parlay, your style, now with even more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. More Locked On NBA Game Night coming up next. All right, Swipa. So with that, the New York Knicks took on your Denver Nuggets today. We're going to start off with this short here from the host of Locked On Knicks.
The New York Knicks destroy the Denver Nuggets 142-103. I'm XJ of Locked On Knicks, and we just witnessed a decimation. OG Anunoby was completely on one, playing all around superstar level basketball, hitting threes, attacking the basket with aggression, making the right pass, and playing elite defense on the other side. Was utterly dominant. And we also saw Karl-Anthony Towns play his game, finally get some post-ups in space, hitting some threes in transition and playing his game. We also saw Josh Hart have a really great performance, great defense, and taking advantage of Nikola Jokic attempting to play ghost coverage against Josh Hart and was completely bamboozled in the way that the Mike Brown really tried to attack it, putting Josh Hart into the action on and off the ball, meaning he was putting Nikola Jokic into the action on and off the ball. That allowed all of the teammates to get going. Jalen Brunson to spray the ball around. He didn't have a great shooting game, but he had a great passing game. Another 15-assist game for Jalen Brunson, showing that all the doubters about his passing skill were way off base. I don't think the Nuggets want to ever see the Knicks again, and it's just a really bad matchup for them, and the Knicks have shown that time and time again. They have no way to deal with the way that the Knicks will completely put Jokic into action, including with Mitchell Robinson, who had an absolute monster game as well. Too many guys to give credit to go around, but the Knicks just outmatched, outmuscled, and just dominated the Denver Nuggets tonight.
Well, Swiper, I have one of the best people in the world to cover the Denver Nuggets, man. How'd you feel about this game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a destruction. The Nuggets won the first quarter 29-27, and there's just a lot to get into with this. I talked about this a lot on my show, but David Adelman, decided to go small ball versus the Knicks, and it went from a 2-point lead. The Nuggets were down 5. Jokic came back in, but really one of the biggest issues, the Nuggets shot 2 of 26 from 3 in the first 3 quarters. This is obviously the best jump shooting team in the NBA. And they got Aaron Gordon back. They got Spencer Jones back. Cam Johnson came back in the lineup, but they could not buy an outside bucket. It was just a absolute brick fest. So they went down 11, but then what happened in the third quarter, Jokic tried to go on one of those one-man assaults in the third because Jamal Murray, unfortunately, the biggest story of this game is he actually went down with an injury and rolled his ankle pretty badly. And so hopefully that's not going to be something that keeps him out for too long. The Nuggets had their starting lineup for the first time since November 12th, and they lose Jamal Murray in the first half. So they have just had horrific injury luck this entire year, and it just has not been enough. Jokic had 17 points inside of that third quarter. Cam Johnson had 6 points, but they just couldn't get stops. And it was just basic cover stuff they've been running into. And, I think, the Knicks have won 7 of the last 8 or something like that. I don't even know what the number is versus Denver, but they won the one this year earlier when Spencer Jones and Peyton Watson exited the game with injuries mid-game. They went to double overtime. Like, if Jokic would have had this game, he had 38 points through 3 quarters. I think that's what's kind of missed here. Like, Jokic was on his way for 50 points today if this was an opportunity for him to finish the game. But obviously, like, the lead just got so out of whack, and the team is trying to refine their identity. Whereas for the Knicks, the Knicks had basically a full host of compliments that they had at their disposal today outside of Miles McBride. And I think, the Knicks have been rolling. The Nuggets, on the other hand, they've been really trying to struggle to find their identity. And I really, really think at the heart of it, Data Adelman is really struggling right now to figure out how to use his personnel correctly. Because, when you're playing versus the Knicks, you're playing versus a very good offensive rebounding team. They gave up 10 offensive rebounds in the first half, and Jokic was the only player on the floor at times, or Valanciunas for 2 minutes, that was able to pull any offensive rebounds at all. So it was just multiple breakdowns defensively, terrible calls from a defensive scheme standpoint. They were boxing and trapping Jalen Brunson, but then what would happen if Mitchell Robinson would roll, and then they wouldn't have anybody on the roll, or they would have somebody short that's on the roll. It was just multiple things and multiple issues that they were running into. It honestly was a very, 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 very bad game for Denver, and a very good game for the New York Knicks.
Yeah, you just have those teams that match up well with you, right? Or they scheme very well against a team. That's the Knicks in Denver right now. The Knicks need to, hopefully be able to go on a run here in the Eastern Conference playoffs, because that's what everything is gearing towards right now. But the Denver Nuggets, man, they've had health injuries. Jokic missed the longest stretch of games in his career, I believe it was, earlier in the season. So both these teams are trying to get on track for the playoffs. We'll see what each one can do. I've learned never to bet against the Nuggets team that's fully healthy. Hopefully they're going to be able to be that for the playoffs. But let's get into the next game. The Rockets get a win over the Blazers here, 106-99, 28 from Alperen Sengun, 26 from Amin Thompson. You get 20 points as well from Kevin Durant. This is a Rockets team that is tied for fourth in the Western Conference. Is trying to find their edge. I don't think they've lived up to necessarily their expectations coming into the year, but they've had injuries, things like that. How'd you feel about their win over a Blazers team that's also in a spiral? Like, the Blazers are just they're going to make the play-in still, but it's real rough here over the last month or so for them.
Yeah, it's just really tough, man. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, illnesses, injuries, they have just had to deal with so many different things all season, inconsistent lineups. I really thought this team was going to be like a play-in team, like a certified play-in team coming into the year, but obviously everything with their head coach, Chauncey, it's just been a mess. And today was a big mess for them as well. Offensively, just could not find consistency, couldn't make the shots they needed to make. But this is the great bounce back game for the Rockets. Obviously, they had a very tough loss versus a depleted Warriors team that was putting out Guy Santos and DeAnthony Melton and Draymond Green, and they lost that game. And Al Horford as well. And so Amin Thompson has a bounce back. He was 11 of 12 from 2 today for 26 points. Sengun had 28 points. And then Durant, lower maintenance game, 20 points and 8 rebounds. They just took care of business. And this is what they want out of their big three, to get the kind of production and have good defensive performances like this. So it was just a great game for the Rockets on the other end.
Yeah, Rockets took care of business in this one. They sit now with 39 wins on the year. Still have a chance to get to the 50-win mark, which I think is important, especially in that Western Conference. We'll see what comes up for the Houston Rockets coming in the rest of the way. We got a few more games to talk about. We got 3 games left to recap on the night that we're going to get into, and we're going to get into those right after this. But first, I got to talk to you guys about a message from one of our sponsors, and that is 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, or Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready, and I've got my number 1 pick for the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. When you look at the Fruity Rainbow, listen, I love fruit flavored things. Candy is my favorite. So that's going to be my number 1 pick in there, probably followed by Cotton Candy. This is a good always classic there. But when you look at it, the Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, and Cotton Candy, they all have great sweet flavors for you to overcome that 5 Hour Energy flavor taste. 5 Hour Energy shots give you a boost with 0 sugar. 5 Hour Energy has a lot of upcoming flavor innovations planned, and never know what's going to be the next flavor for 5 Hour Energy as well. Find your new favorite flavor at 5 Hour Energy shots, available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Also got to talk to you guys about another of our sponsors, and that is Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for Sponsored Jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. You're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. And when you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of our show will get $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support your show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. We're locked on game night coming up next. All right, Swiper, before we get up out of here, man, we got a few games left to recap. We're going to start off here with the Pelicans as well, who Pelicans have been an interesting team for over the course of this season. They get a loss here to the Suns. We're going to go to Jake, host of Locked On Pels.
Pelicans lose in the most Pelicans way against the Phoenix Suns. I'm Jake Madison, host of Locked On Pelicans. This was a close game for New Orleans. They only lost by 2 in this one. In fact, they had a chance at the very end to potentially tie it, send it to overtime, or even get the win. And after stealing an inbounds pass, they turned the ball over. And this has been a recurring problem for New Orleans now. Under interim head coach James Borrego, they've been good about not turning the ball over. But over the past 7 games now, it's been 15 or more turnovers in every single one, as this team seems to have just regressed a little bit on offense. They were sloppy in this one. After timeout plays were really bad in this. And in a close game, those type of little things on the margins need to happen. One difference in turnovers could have sent this game to overtime, but New Orleans just couldn't put it together like they haven't been able to at any point this year. I'll have more over at the Locked On Pelicans podcast.
Suns here, one of the fun teams, is like one of my league pass teams this season. They've been a lot better than I expected them to be coming into this year. They're going to try to avoid the play-in the rest of the way here. The Pels, only 20 wins on the season. They don't have their own first-round pick this year. How you feeling about this game and both teams, Swiper?
Yeah, man, it's a little tough, obviously. Shout out to the Pelicans, or at least they're competing and they're trying, but the Suns just were too much down the stretch of this game. Right now, like, that Pelicans pick is projected to be around the 6th pick out to Atlanta. And I mean, that, like, apparently based on where the mocks are falling, which for me is crazy, you're going to be like in Darius Acuff level, like, territory right there. Like, you could have walked away with Darius Acuff and Queen. Like, like I said, shout out to the draft they had last year. But bro, like, I think they could have added like a real monster. And I think in this situation, I think there's a world in which that obviously goes somewhere else. So, but look, shout out to the Pelicans. They're trying. They're fighting through multiple things, multiple injuries all season. Today was just a really good game, and thankfully the Suns were able to get it done because the Suns are actually trying to make the play-in, and Jordan Knott has done an incredible job. He got a lot out of Jalen Green today, who continues to kind of fight his way back into rhythm after missing a large part of the year. He had 25 points. Devin Booker had a really good shooting night from 3. He was 5 of 12. He had 32 points in this game. Obviously, they're dealing without their 3rd or 2nd best player right now, who's dealing with his own thing with injuries. So it was a really good win by the Suns to be able to pull this out. And obviously the Pelicans, they don't have any incentive to do much right now, but try to develop their players. So yeah, this is kind of what it is right now.
Yeah, for sure. The Spurs on the night get a 116-112 victory over the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers are in that play-in area. They have 30 wins on the season. The San Antonio Spurs, though, Swiper, are the 2nd best team in the Western Conference. And you typically don't look at teams that are this young. It's their first time being this good with this record, going into playoffs. You don't expect them to necessarily have the biggest success in the first year, but do you think this young Spurs team can buck that trend and maybe make a conference finals, as they are the number 2 seed out west?
Man, I've been on the Spurs all year, but this is crazy. They should have won today, but they might have. They, at least maybe should have went to overtime. That last play from Nicholas Batum, where he inbounds the ball to Brook Lopez and then he stands out of bounds, doesn't re-enter the play. I mean, that's one of the craziest ways to lose a game I've seen. And then on top of that, Derrick Jones Jr. on the inbound directly after that play gets very clearly pushed by Devin Vassell, but apparently Miss Johnson called a timeout right before the offensive foul took place. So they twice got saved today by just errors and then a good timeout from Miss Johnson. But the Spurs they have the makings of a team that can make the finals because they don't fear OKC at all. Yeah. They have defense just like OKC does. They got ball handlers like OKC does. They got on-ball scorers. And the difference is they have an absolute nightmare in the middle of the paint at Victor Wembanyama, who's just getting to be a better offensive player. He's already the most dominant defensive player, one of them ever already. And then now he obviously is the most dominant in the league. And then you bring off Dylan Harper and Luke Cornett and Keldon Johnson and Carter Bryant off the bench. That's just going to be a lot to deal with, especially with Stephon Castle as he continues to develop as well. There's a very real world, man. And I'm kind of getting to the point now where, the Nuggets aren't healthy. It's going to take them getting healthy and finding some rhythm to be able to get back where they need to go. Obviously, SGA and the Thunder, man, they're rolling. It might just be that the 2 best teams in the West, like regardless of whatever, just because of all the situation, are the Spurs and the Thunder. And the Spurs have already proven that we can put belt to A versus the Thunder because we are not afraid of them. And the Thunder's biggest asset they have is their size at the rim. And Wemby, we got even more of it. So it could get scary, bro. That could be a legitimate Western Conference Finals.
It could be. And with the Spurs, I mean, especially if the Thunder do fall into one of those series where their shooting isn't falling, because we know that's still the Achilles heel of the Thunder, that could be a very interesting series, man. Don't count out the Spurs. Like I said, I won't necessarily pick them to come out the West, but I wouldn't count it out, man. They're just so good, so well coached, and so deep as well. They're just a deep team, and we've seen how that has helped in playoff series. Last game on the night, Swiper, Lakers get the win here, 128-117 over the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers have had a rough season, but we knew that coming into this year. The Lakers are trying to find some momentum here. You get 44 points from Luka Doncic today, which is huge. 19 points from Austin Reeves, 15 from Luke Kennard coming off the bench as well. How you feeling?
Hey man, great job. Great job. Luka Doncic had a great game. He had 44 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and 7 threes. Apparently joined D'Angelo Russell. That's the only player in NBA history to reach those numbers in the game per stat views. So phenomenal performance. They get a win. They beat a team they're supposed to beat. They make up for the loss yesterday to Denver while Denver loses. So yeah, man, just great performance. And the Lakers, they're trying to continue to stay in the hunt. To stay in the top 6, and they took care of that business today.
Definitely took care of business, and that's what you need to do. But Swiper, if nothing else, man, that's going to do it for today's episode, man. You guys make sure you guys go over and support Swiper over on Locked On Nuggets, where they're holding it down, getting ready for a playoff run. You can follow me if you choose to, Locked On Bulls. We are not getting ready for a playoff run, unfortunately, so there's that. Thank you guys for tuning in to Locked On NBA Game Night. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, as well as they will be recapping all the games from Saturday night. If you never miss an episode, the Everyday Your Club is built for you. Go to get Locked On NBA Game Night ad-free. You can also get access to our exclusive Discord. All you got to do is go to lockedonnba.supercast.com to sign up for that. We'll catch you guys next week as we are here every Friday night. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.